Greetings, family. Welcome. It's good to see everybody, and it's good to be back home here in the state of Florida. As many of you all know, I was in Texas for about 8 days. So I was away on vacation, spending time with my mom, my siblings, and some of my cousins, my first and second cousins, nieces and nephews, and I had an amazing time in the state of Florida. And it's good to be back too, though, just to be back home and back in my safety zone. However, Texas was an amazing experience because it's another free state, and I got to hear some very good stories about the founding of Texas and how Texas wanted to secede from the Union, and Texas had demanded its go back from the United States Incorporated, which we already knew that, but to hear the stories from the people and to see and hear how different communities operate there in the state of Texas, it was really nice. In the rural areas, people actually live off the land and they burn their own garbage. So keep checking in, family. And they all know to stay on code. So I stayed and visited with some of my cousins who actually live right up the road from the Ku Klux Klan. And it didn't bother me at all, In fact, as my cousin told me, as long as people stay on code, there's no problem. If you don't bother these communities, they don't bother you. And if anybody operates outside of code, like say a person of color was attacked by Ku Klux Klan members, then the Klan members would address their own people for operating out of code, right? But now if you're a person of color and you're messing with somebody, a Ku Klux Klan community member, then you might get dealt with. So it's just an area out in the rural areas right outside of, I want to say, Houston, maybe about an hour outside of Houston, the rural area. It was actually nice and peaceful and calm. People had their land demarcated, or you could tell which was their land and which wasn't. And had a whole lot of land. I also appreciated the fact that my cousin was telling me the female. So her husband is my cousin, and she is the wife by marriage. She's my cousin. She said, of course, like here we stand our ground. We all carry weapons, and she said, eat the women and the men alike. And she said, I've had to stand my ground before. And we have all types of assault weapons, all type of weapons. She said, as a matter of fact, don't flinch, Key, but there's some sitting right up under you and you don't even know it. So I thought that was fascinating that they love their weapons, they love their gold, they love their silver, they love their freedom, they love their country in Texas. I just thoroughly enjoyed seeing the patriotism of all the American people, no matter what race, creed, nationality, religious affiliation, because we mingled with some of everybody while I was out there, and everybody is super, super friendly. So I'm not sure how some of these states like Florida and Texas got a bad reputation for being extremely racist. Maybe they were at some point, but I didn't feel that. I haven't felt it in Florida. I didn't feel it at all in Texas. And it was just really fascinating to see that everybody was operating on code and respectfully. Another thing my cousin taught me was that they out in the rural areas and in the farm areas and different places that are away from the city, they paint their fences purple. And when they have parts of their fence painted purple or parts of their property demarcated with purple, then you know that you are not to step across that purple line or purple mark. And if you do, you get what you get. So if you cross a purple mark out in a rural area where my cousin lived, you could get shot. And it is a known, not even a theory, a known practice there. And as a matter of fact, when the police go by and they see that there might be some type of altercation or maybe a body outside this purple mark, listen, you got what you got because you crossed the purple line and you knew that was somebody's property, right? So my mom and I were like, wow, okay, this is new to us. And so mom went outside just to answer the phone or something. And she said, oh my God, cuz you guys really have purple outside on your fence. She said, yeah, we don't play that. If you come across our property, you will get dealt with. If you disrespect any family, you would get dealt with. And she said, in fact, I'm classified as Black because I'm African American. She said, but my counterparts or the Caucasian neighbors have told me that as long as I stay on code, they got my back if anybody crosses me. So she said it's really, really respectful out here. It's peaceful. It's communal. And even at their churches in the rural areas, the pastors preach about prosperity. The pastors preach, I bet you this is Chief. No. The pastors preach about freedom, sovereignty. And she said, I never experienced what I experienced here in a rural community in Texas. I never experienced this in the Black church, where the pastor actually teaches us how to stay out of debt, how to get out of debt, how to acquire silver and gold, why we need precious metals, why we need land, how to make the best use of the land. Told you it was Chief Mac. 1 second, family. 1 second. Keep checking in. So in the rural areas, they know how to stay on code. And even like I said, in the church, they talk about prosperity. And her pastor, my cousin's pastor, told her and her husband, my cousin, we want you all to be wealthy, just like we are as the leaders of the church, so that we can commune together, we can travel together, we can enjoy life together. And I thought that was so amazing. So I really thoroughly enjoyed my time there in Texas. I enjoy spreading the wealth and giving unto others as the Most High or the Creator source has given it to me, as a way to teach people about precious metals. So I might give someone a coin or half of an ounce or something like that, or a gold arm note or a gold back. And what that does is that opens up the lines of communication about how we are all about to experience a jubilee. We're all about to experience wealth. We're all about to experience sovereignty. And we're all about to experience a whole new reality. So that's what brings me here today, family. Feathers up, everybody. Grand afternoon, grand rising, joyous rising, supreme rising, rich rising, family. I am ecstatic today because I have come to understand and understand that we are about to have a jubilee. In fact, we must have a jubilee to reset the world economic system, not just to reset what's going on here in America, but to reset the whole world economic system. Now, people, even when I was in Texas, are panicking. In Texas, here in Florida, I'm getting phone calls from all over America, even some calls from out different countries where people are asking, what is going on in America? Why are you guys downsizing the government? Even in Texas, some of the friends of my family were like, people are getting laid off. People are worried. They're in a frenzy. They're panicking because they're losing their jobs. Some people are even trying to go to the federal judges for help. But my darlings, the federal judges can't help you because the federal judges are being audited too. Okay. So people are distraught and upset on one hand. But on the other hand, many of us are actually elated and celebrating because we know we have to go through some change. Okay, they say the only thing that's consistent in life is actually change. And if you're in business or management, you've read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? And the book talks about how the cheese was moved around and it caused some anxiety, right? And that's what change does to some people. But we have to have an audit. Auditing is occurring on all levels in the government to see how the funding was spent and where the funding went to, how it was used and misused. This is a part of bankruptcy settlements. And you all know that the United States Incorporated and USA Incorporated is subsidiary. They're being bankrupted, or they have been bankrupted. So part of bankruptcy settlement is to go through all of the agencies and audit them. This is how you do a bankruptcy settlement. You have to literally look at all the records, all the books, And you have to see why these agencies were even created to begin with. And then you have to settle the books. So you can go to the federal judges, my darlings, but the federal judges can't help you. They're being audited too. The federal judges and all judges, as well as court attorneys, will have to go through some type of audit because they all have Esquire behind their name. And according to our Constitution for the Republic, you may not create laws if you have a title of nobility. Esquire is a title of nobility. If you had to pass the British accredited registry or the bar exam, my darlings, you don't even work for we the people. You work for the British Crown. So all of them, Congress, judges at the federal, state, all levels, and attorneys who are not lawyers, they do not create laws. If you create laws, you're operating in alignment with the Constitution for our republic. But you're not creating laws, you're creating legalities, statutes, codes, and policies, and you use your policy enforcers or police officers to enforce your policies, which are part of the United States Incorporated and the Constitution of the United States Incorporated, which incorporated itself in 1871 as a nonprofit religious organization with the Pope as the leader. By the way, and as an aside, Pope Francis is in critical condition. He's got heart problems, lung problems, respiratory problems, and he is on life support because he's hanging on by a string. He's on life support, and the remnants and the remaining part of the United States Incorporated that hasn't been demolished, they're also on life support. So this is all symbolic. So you can go to the federal government and say, hey, you shouldn't be downsizing the government. Hey, I need this and I need that. But President Trump is operating under court order himself that compels him to do this because it's all part of bankruptcy settlement. And as a result, the United States Incorporated, USA Inc., whatever you want to call it, has to downsize from 1/2 to 3/4 of the government, completely demolished, or any beneficial parts of the agencies have to go under the republic. Now, according to some sources, as many as 350 agencies were added under Franklin Delano Roosevelt, his presidency alone, 350. I have a list of 441 government agencies. There's probably more. But 350 were added under FDR. Why is that? And these federal agents in the federal government use our name, our credit, our Social Security, our birth certificate that they securitize, and bought all types of things, made a lot of investments, and didn't even give us a cut of it. And they did it without our consent. Okay, so this is egregious. But again, this has to happen, family, where the federal government is being audited. Why? Number one, it's bankrupt. Number two, the Supreme Court of the United States overturned, remember, the Chevron doctrine or Chevron deference. When the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine or Chevron deference, they said that these government agencies had created themselves unlawfully. They're not part of our republic, right? They don't serve we the people. In fact, they've been making money without our consent. So the Supreme Court of the United States says they're unconstitutional and they are treasonous. And every time somebody decided that they would not comply with the FBI, CIA, CPS, DMV, you guys name it, any of those federal agencies, HOA, housing authorities, if you didn't comply, they would put a fine on us and they would sick their policy enforcers or police officers on us. But I don't know if you've noticed this. You can fact check me and Google me right now. Google and see if this is true. All across the United States of America, police departments are downsizing. Okay. And the duties of the police officers or police departments are being put under the sheriff department because policy enforcers, police officers that were created to catch slaves, whether you a slave by chattel property, or you're a slave because you're a slave to debt. These policy enforcers that were commissioned to go and catch slaves are being demolished because they are unconstitutional. They are treasonous. Sorry, my darlings. The only thing that can deal with enforcing the law according to our republic and our constitution for our republic is the sheriff's department. So the Chevron doctrine was overturned by the Supreme Court of the United States, and they determined that these federal agencies were fraudulent, treasonous, and against our Constitution. They have to be demolished. And that's why President Trump is downsizing the government, because of the Chevron doctrine being overturned and because it's part of the bankruptcy settlement. So Trump is actually under court order to get this done, and to get it done quickly. So hit the like button, family, subscribe to the channel, and send the video to anybody that you think might be helpful. So this is why we see all this happening. And then the Chevron doctrine went a step further and said any judge that allowed this to happen and deferred you back to these federal faux agencies whenever you were called to task and forced to do something, any judge that participated in that, they're also treasonous and committed treason. And any judge that knew of a judge that allowed this to happen and didn't report it to the president have committed misprision of treason. So the Chevron doctrine was the beginning of all this, all of the downsizing of the government, my darlings. I know it's painful for a lot of people. I know people are being told, like, we can buy you out. You know, you can maybe take some type of early retirement, but you got to go. And that's making a lot of people uncomfortable. But there is a way that we will mitigate this, family. And one of the ways we will mitigate this is by injecting money and wealth into the global economy. For example, President Trump's Global Wealth Fund, or Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is a fund comprised of foreign assets, which are foreign currencies, gold, silver, palladium, platinum, rare earth minerals, stocks, bonds, real estate, etc. That sovereign wealth fund is set up just for our nation for two purposes: for development. So they would take care of all the roads, the infrastructure, and developments in our great country, and for investments. So they would make other investments using the sovereign wealth fund. And other nations have been doing this forever. So President Trump signed an executive order to create that sovereign wealth fund earlier this month in February. So we have some means of experiencing wealth. Now, that's only one way we will mitigate this, but another way is through DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency. Elon Musk has said that he caught a lot of the misuse of funds and a lot of abuse of funding that the federal government was doing or using or executing through USAID programs and many other programs. And so he said, look, I found a lot of money that's left over that you all have been using. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use some of that to pay off the national debt. And then we're going to use the other that to give all American people, at least 78 million tax-paying Americans, a stimulus check. And I know a lot of people are saying, Pruitt, I read that, and the stimulus check they're saying that he's going to give is only like $5,000, right, to every household. To which I would say, family, that is a very minimal amount when you consider all the money that they've stolen from us, right? Here is the article here that says, or ask the question, could $5,000, a DOGE stimulus check, really happen? And here's what we know. And people are like, that's not enough money. And I will agree. And that's why some experts and some, or at least one constitutional judge has recommended that when and if you endorse that check, you should say something like, this, I accept this, or this is an acceptance of partial payment that is owed to me. So just in case the government try to say, hey, we paid you off, we gave you $5,000, you have a record saying, no, my darling, this is partial payment. So this is an acknowledgement or acceptance of this impartial payment of the debt that is owed to me, something along those lines. And I'll find out the exact wording for you guys and I'll put it up in the community section. But they are planning on sending that $5,000 stimulus check to all Americans, all tax-paying Americans, and they're saying they're going to do it as soon as possible. people are asking me how soon. It will happen as soon as possible. And some people say probably March or April, right? April is around tax time. So everybody will receive about $5,000. And the reason why they're doing this is to compensate on a low level for all of this misuse of funding that the government has done, and because they want to stimulate the economy. Okay, we got to get some money being spent because the economy is suffering. So that is partially how we will deal with the downsizing of the government, and how we would deal with, people not having any money, people being laid off, and people just being unemployed. But another way is with a debt jubilee. A debt jubilee has to happen, and it will happen. So you might ask me, how do you know we're going to have a debt jubilee, Pruitt? Well, I don't know if you remember this, but Pope Francis actually opened the doors. Remember, on December the 24th, they made an announcement that Pope Francis was opening up, 5 doors or portals, and he called those portals Jubilee portals. Do you all recall that? I made announcements about that, and I covered it each day. Let me see I'll see if I can find that particular article for you. Oh, where is it? Pope Francis? Right here. He opened the holy doors or holy portals, and he actually called them Jubilee portals. And that was his announcement and declaring not January, but 2025 as the year of Jubilee. And I'll tell you in a minute what a Jubilee is. So here is that article here. It says Pope Francis opens the holy door, inaugurating the 2025 Jubilee. 2025 is also a year of 9, which is a year of the snake. Snakes represent prosperity, sovereignty, and snakes in ancient times guarded the wealth. So this is the year of the snake. This is the year of the Jubilee. Pope Francis, remember, who is the head or was the head of the United States Incorporated, actually opened up those portals or those doors. He opened up the first one December the 24th, 2024. The second one, December the 26th, the day after Christmas, 2024. The third one he opened on December 29th, which was a Sunday, 2024. And then the fourth one he opened on January the 1st, 2025. And then January the 5th, 2025. This whole discussion of a Jubilee is very pertinent. Now, if you want to know what a debt Jubilee is and how we came to do it, I'll let you know in just a second. But I see Chief Mack is in the house, and people have asked to hear from him again. So let me send him a link in the event that he decides to come. So Jubilee represents rest, sovereignty, freedom, letting go of slaves. And it is very biblical. Okay. Now, as a Sabbatarian and someone who grew up in the Hebrew tradition, because I am Hebrew, I kept the 7-day Sabbath since I was a child, and the holy days prescribed in Leviticus 23, all of them. And I prescribed to by or live by the dietary law, though I took it a step further. So in Leviticus and Deuteronomy, it tells you what you may and may not eat as being, from my bloodline. Now, I happen to be vegan, but growing up, I lived by the dietary laws, kept the 7-day Sabbath, the holy days, all this. I know about the Shemitah and all of these Jubilee cycles. So what happened is, according to the Jews or the Hebrew people, I'll just say the Jews, in the Bible, every 7 years, you're supposed to forgive people of their debt. You're supposed to let the slaves go, and you're supposed to give your land a rest and let the land go fallow. Just leave it alone so the land can just have some peace and rest from being, raped and just tilled. Leave it alone. Every 7 years. This was a command that was given to the people, the Hebrew people or the Jews, when they came out of slavery out of Egypt. This is the biblical text, okay? When they came out the God of the Bible told Moses, once you get into the promised land, Canaan land, the land that flows with milk and honey, you ought to make sure that every 7 years you let any indentured servants, any slaves go free, because indentured servants are slaves that work for you to pay off their debt, and you have to let the land go to rest. Not only are you to do that every 7 years, but 7 times 7, on the 49th year, you're to do the same. And then on the 50th year, you have a huge celebration called a Jubilee. So this is biblical. Now, because all nations actually did some semblance of a Jubilee, America did the same, but it depends on what account you read. We haven't had a Jubilee since the 1400s, and some records say we haven't had a Jubilee in 800 years. Well, it is biblical for you to have a Jubilee. In the United States of America, it's supposed to be a Christian country, but this is something that all nations did, okay? Even in the Talmud, in the Torah, the Jews had a Jubilee every 7 years. We call it Shemitah. And then 7 times 7 on the 49th year, and have a huge celebration on the 50th year. When you look up Jubilee now, the only thing they'll tell you is that we're about to have a 150-year anniversary, a commemoration of the United States of the United States, excuse me, and was supposed to happen. We're going to have a year-long celebration, Memorial Day, May 2025, up through July the 4th, 2026. And this is a 150-year commemoration of the, Declaration of Independence for America, or for the United States. That's the only thing that comes up when you look up America having a Jubilee. But America and the Romans, which we are, the United States Incorporated is part of the Roman Empire, has had a Jubilee in the past, but I can't find any records since the 1400s. We are way overdue for a debt Jubilee. And now, since Pope Francis has opened up those portals, I see you, Chief, coming in a minute. Now, since he's opened up those portals, we know that he's declared 2025 as the year of Jubilee. It will happen very, very soon, family. This is probably why Zero Hedge came out with the article that we're going to have a debt Jubilee of biblical proportions. And it asks you, are you ready? Because it's coming. This article was published December 24th, which was the first day that Pope Francis opened up the portal, declaring 2025 as the year of the Jubilee. And Durden, who is the author of this article, says that for thousands of years, the rulers of ancient Babylon discovered a technique to stave off violent revolts. Look, people even here in America, in the here and now, 2025, are on the precipice of a revolt because they're tired of being enslaved to the government. They're tired of the debt. Now we have Doge downsizing the government. People are losing their jobs, and they know they have to do something. So to stave off a revolt, you have to do what we've done in the biblical times and in ancient times, when people became hopeless and indebted to their creditors. As debts mounted, social unrest would boil over, and it would threaten the stability of the entire ruling system. So the rulers of ancient Babylon and ancient societies understood this is a very dangerous dynamic. A debt jubilee acted as societal pressures released valves when no other options remained. This practice spread throughout society and throughout the ancient world and became codified in various civilizations. So again, the book of Leviticus actually set the tone. Now, again, these people created debt. They securitized our birth certificate, and they did all types of things. Then they had the audacity to make us take out loans, which they never were supposed to do. And they put interest on top of those loans, even though the way they paid themselves is by stealing money from our trusts. I'll let Chief talk about that a little more. Now, they put interest on the loans, which they never were supposed to. First, they didn't loan us any money, but interest is against the Bible. Interest is against the Jewish way. Interest is putting interest on anybody, is even against the Christian way. Usury, interest, whatever you say, is non-biblical, and it's against how the government have been set up. It's against our Constitution to put interest on other people. But let me tell you how they got around it. Even the Jews in the Talmud, okay, remember, I know I'm a Jew. The Jews in the Talmud and the Torah were told they were not to charge interest. They could give somebody a loan, but they were not to charge interest. The Jewish people and their leaders came up with a way to circumvent or work around their own text, their own Torah, their own Bible, their own Talmud that said you're not allowed to charge interest. And what they said is, we won't charge interest to one another, but we'll charge interest to somebody else. And the Christians knew, though, outside of the Jews, that we weren't allowed to charge usury or interest rates according to our biblical text in the New Testament. But the way they got around it, come on, Pruitt, preach, was they said, hey, Jews, hey, Zionists, hey, Khazarian Mafia, you know how you guys aren't supposed to charge interest, but you came up with a way of working around that, and you said we won't charge interest to one another, but we'll charge interest to them Christians and them other people. Guess what? We as Christians aren't supposed to charge interest. So we'll use you as the broker. We'll use you, pay you off, and let you charge interest to these Christians. So you won't charge interest to each other, Khazarian Mafia, Jews, Zionists, but you can charge interest to the people, okay? So they did a secret pact. The Romans, the Roman Catholic Church that controls United States Incorporated, and they charged the Jews with charging interest to the people, made them the bankers, and that's how we came up with the banking cartel. And now they've been charging interest, usury, whatever you want to call it, on top of the debt, on top of the loans, the mortgages, the student loans, the bank loans, the car loans, the business loans. But all of that is unconstitutional and non-biblical, and it has to be done away with. We have to have a jubilee to reconcile all that, to reconcile the books, and to bring us back to where we need to be, and to settle the bankruptcy of the United States Incorporated. And having said that, let's welcome Chief Matt. Hello,
Greetings,
Chief.
greetings. Hey there, Dr. Key. How you doing now?
I'm wonderful, darling. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, guys. I saw that somebody put in the comments that what if they don't don't mail checks out, but they do direct deposit. I think they would ask you whether you have direct deposit or you want a check mailed out, and of course you would want a check mailed out.
Okay.
Certain things you can write on it. They would ask you that. I would they would give you that option whether you want it mailed because everybody don't have an account.
Okay.
So you would say that you don't have an account, you would want to check. And typically, these checks would be treasury checks.
Hmm.
They're going to be treasury for that. But the IRS, the Treasury, and the Federal Reserve are all like a trinity. And so they work together in unity with each other. So the IRS will pull funds from the Treasury on your behalf. And just know that this government is not giving you anything but what belongs to you already. We just got to know that.
Yes.
But they say, oh, we giving you this, or we give. Anytime they say they giving you something, they taking something from you.
Hmm.
If
Okay.
they give you something, it's because they have become the fiduciary and trustees over the estate that you are not over because you're unalive on paper. But as soon as you bring yourself to life, let them know that you're living, you're not unalive on paper, you do these things, then you can go in there and you can recoup funds from them.
Okay.
And this is what people are doing. Once you're operating in trust, you have their foreign EIN number, then that's some magic that can happen that I haven't, that I will only talk to those who consult with me because I don't want to put that kind of information out in the open. But that's the whole purpose of a trust. And that's why trust costs a lot because of it's like starting a brand new identity.
Hmm.
The paperwork is a body without a soul.
Oh.
So what's going to give that paperwork a soul? The foreign EIN number is the spirit. When you
Hmm.
take the spirit, which is the foreign EIN number, and you blow life into that paperwork, you got a brand new living soul. So what have you done? You have started a new identity that's saying that you are alive
Wow.
because the social security number doesn't belong to you. And the all caps name is not who you are. It's what they created as straw man, the fictitious you. So that when the real you signs in wet ink, the real you, they have unalive on paper. They take that paper, which is really an implied trust, and send that to the treasury. And
Hmm.
because they created the you, the funds that should be going to you. but you can't get it because you're in the casket. So they get everything that should be coming to you because you're unalive, and see, basically doing everything necessary to come out of citizenship to being public. The private sector hasn't changed. It always it's the private sector hasn't changed. It's the public that's new. The private is the Republican that we had always operated in equity. But when so that hasn't changed. So people in the private sector are not worried about what's going on because everything stays the same in the
Mm-hmm.
private. It's the people, the public that they're playing games with. They keep on changing and switching things up and making you think they're giving you something, and they give you 5,000 sleazy dollars out of hundreds of millions of dollars. I tell you,
Right.
you got to be an entity in a skin suit to be that wicked. When you got homeless people on the streets,
Right.
suffering, don't know where their next meal is coming from, out there in the elements, don't know if it's going to rain, sleet, or snow,
Mhm.
sleeping on the sidewalks next to rats and insects and bugs and living better than animals, and how people can just drive by these people with tunnel vision and leave the Sunday's best with their gaiters on, their three-piece suit, red high heel bottom suits on. Reverend Flint Flam and Pastor Sneak at Sweetwater Baptist Church ain't said nothing about these people on the streets. Because I'm sorry, church ain't working.
It's not.
And it's not going to work as long as Uncle Sam is patting Reverend Sneak's pocket. It's not
Mm.
going to work. We are the church. That's
Mhm.
why we have to come together as one body. And it's going to be us to get the homeless brothers and sisters off the streets. They're not going to do it. It's going to take
Yeah.
us. So we are the righteous brothers and sisters, whether you so-called white, black, whatever so-called creed or whatever. We're going to have to come together as a collective. And that's why we're going to be put in position to help those righteous out so that we're going to be put in a position where we can help those who we decide to help out and they won't even help. So this is what the Creator give you, let's call it an overflow.
Mm.
And you can't get this overflow with anger, hostility, hatred, malice, and jealousy in your heart. You can't get it. And if you mess around and get it, those attributes that you have, you're going to take your own self up out of here. But
Absolutely.
Dr. Kidd, I wanted to touch on this for your members and your guests.
Okay.
As I've been talking to brothers and sisters uh, from the consultations,
Hmm.
there's a plethora of people in here who are suffering from health problems. I've talked
Yes.
to three people just today, and I can't ignore it. And I told them
Okay.
that I would bring it up on your show.
Absolutely.
There are brothers and sisters in the hospital, have gotten out the hospital, who having health issues because of something they were unfortunately deceived into taking back in 2020,
Mm.
and they're having issues. Um, and this is what I can tell you: there are things coming out, Dr. Kier and family. That there are things coming out that the rich have been doing to um to have a better quality of life, a better quality of life. For instance, light therapy, light
Hmm.
heals the body. Your body's ability to regenerate stem cells, and the stem cells are going there and regenerate parts of your body that's weak to make it stronger, to have a better quality of life.
Yeah.
You talk about the med beds, the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and these are things that I know that I talk to people about. It's been a health coach, personal trainer, dealing with things for a while, and why, as a soon to be 54-year-old man, I don't take any medication. I'm so far, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm still growing my hair, and these are certain things that I do,
Wow.
um, as a ritual to making sure that I have the best quality of life because we are at war, guys.
Yes, sir.
It's a silent war to many, but for those that are knowing, we see the war. So in 2020, when I heard the word mandate.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear the word mandate, that's war been waged on the people. That's what mandation means to me. That means war on the people. And you can't force anything on people because people have certain religious rights, certain tribal rights, and certain people just don't, but they just would prefer to live the life they want to live. And no, and then if you really understand the scriptures, you understand that the Great Spirit said that He made the bitter herbs from the earth to heal the body. And this is for entertainment purposes. This is for education and entertainment purposes. And the body, when you lose the, the spirit, the body goes back to the earth. The body's
Yes.
made from the earth. So quite naturally, things from the earth is what's going to heal the body. So guys, I'm here to motivate, inspire, lift, cultivate, love with love, honor, and respect to the soul tribe that you
Mm-hmm.
guys work with. I'm nobody special. I'm just a brother that's really passionate about love of God's people. And it heals me and it gives me life when I can pour into others in a righteous way and see someone smile, see
Yes.
somebody to give somebody hope, see somebody smile in a world so wicked, man. And that gives me life. And if you really want to build kingdom points, if you really want to build kingdom points and move the ancestors and the Great Spirit into really being able to protect you, guide you, and shield you, and give you an overflow and an abundance, this is how you build up kingdom points. Not about what you can do for yourself, but what you can do for others who can't do for themselves, who can't pay you back, who can't
Mm-hmm.
do this, do that for you. When you do these things, the ancestors in the family are in debt to you. And that's a scripture in the Bible that talks about that, but you'll never hear it because they don't talk about the homeless. There's so many things in the Bible. It tells you how did you move the Most High, the Great Spirit? How did you move Him to saying that they're trying me? Let me give this person an overflow. I have done
Mm.
this all my life, and that's what right now is my reaping season, my overflow season,
Absolutely.
my abundance season is now because I knew these things. I have homeless friends. How many
Mm.
people can say they have a homeless friend? You can walk downtown or walk in the area and you have the homeless say, "Hey man, what's going on?" Want to hug and you just talking to them and you give them life. You give them hope. You inspire them. And in that script, it told people that be careful to entertain strangers
That's right.
because many have entertained angels unaware. And you can have a test and you can either pass that test or you can fail it. So we got a lot of righteous people in here. Hey guys, let's clean up our acts.
Mm.
So a lot of people are about to have a tremendous amount of wealth. I'm so proud of you guys. The people I've been talking to got foreign currencies, XRPs, gold,
Yes.
silver, and I'd like to say that a lot of people are thankful for you, Dr. Kier, because they wouldn't even have this financial forecast
Oh,
if it
thank you,
wasn't for
Chief.
you. I'm just serious. I'm so serious.
Mm.
A lot
Thank
of
you.
it's you give people hope
Thank
when
you.
they dial in and they hear you and they're able to make executive decisions at the
Yes.
11th hour,
Mm.
final decisions at the 11th hour, that's going to set them up, not only them, but generation up because the things that you have shared with people, you're taking your time out with a smile on your face, you
Thank you,
know,
Chief.
and you got life to deal with as well. So I say to the people, let's continue to take out the system, man,
Thank you, Chief.
because
And
because
I appreciate you for taking care of me. You always make sure that I'm well.
no, but it's a lot. It's what I can. It's what's necessary. What we have to do. I like to set the pace. That if I'm doing it, we need to free you up however we can, so that you
Thank
can
you.
continue to give us the financial forecast and the intelligent, intellectual give us that guidance that we need. That a lot of us are in position right now, but based on what you're saying, this is what I'm hearing from people. Some
Mm.
people say they've been following you, and then you bring in certain guests on your shows with
Yes, sir.
just with people who just pull. We're not going to agree with everything somebody says, but we are uh, intelligent enough to pull the meat from the bones. I don't
Yes,
expect
sir.
people to agree with everything I say. I don't
That's-
agree with everything that people say, but I know enough to pull the meat from the bones. We're
You've
all
even
very
questioned me before, Chief. You're like, now, you had so and so on your show, and they said, what now? And I said, Chief, I know I wasn't even sure about what they said, but I'm just going to be respectful. And you said, that's good. You respect what they say, even if you don't understand it, you don't agree, because those are your guests and you don't want to disrespect your guests. But you've called me to question on some things, and I appreciate that
well.
because we
That's what
don't
we do.
agree
We
with everything. It's life.
listen. That's when you slipping and you falling. You want to hope you have somebody to pull your coat.
That's right. That's right.
Don't people who don't pull your coat, they want to see you fail. If
Yes,
you
sir.
if you
Mm.
if you see somebody slipping and falling, just hey man, hey girl, hey woman, you're going the wrong way. And that's what we should do, and that's what we call being our brothers and sisters keeper, and that's called operating in trust.
Mm.
And we as a people, as the so-called melanated people, we got a lot of cleaning up to do.
Mm.
We have a lot of healing to do because we are grown men and women walking around in a grown man's bodies with that little boy and little girl in their hurt and thinking that everybody is trying to compete with you, thinking that
Mm.
everybody is talking at you when you really need to clean yourself up and stop being so easily angered and triggered.
Yes, sir.
Because that's going to get in the way of you getting your inheritance because you see everything as anybody trying to attack you. And it's
Mm.
not them. Look at your inner man and inner self and look at what you can do better. Look at what you can offer instead of always coming into a situation expecting things and being angry and mad at having mama and daddy issues. And I get it. The system was really hard on us as a people. I get it. But if you don't forgive,
Don't
you
forget.
got a lot of religious people in here. If you're saying repent and turn from your wicked ways, and if you can expect to be forgiven by your
Mm.
Savior, but you can't forgive,
Mm.
come on now. You got to forgive. I've done it. I've been hurt by people that were supposed to be protecting me. I grew up in a household with like 15, 16 people. I was talked about, ridiculed, persecuted by people that were supposed to be protecting me. And one day I woke up and I said, you know what? Let me forgive my mom. Let
Mm.
me forgive my brother and sister. And I can remember that happened. It was a burden that left off me. And
Wow.
what I've been through was enough to be on drugs, drinking, smoking, or in prison. I'm from the main streets of Gary, Indiana.
Mm.
Gary, Indiana was the first murder capital of the whole United States when the
Wow.
military operation put the dope on the streets. It was a military operation. And they created laws on the books. And they created the prison system was started booming in the late 70s and 80s.
Mm.
And they made the prison system so that they can say it was a return on those who invested. It was a great return, saying if you invest in this penal system, this is the return you're going to get. They showed people on crack cocaine what it was going to do, how it was going to just ravage through the communities. And they created laws and had these federal warehouses to just line people up so they can kidnap you, put you in that federal warehouse, and if once they put you in that federal warehouse, you're paying room and board and three
Mm.
lousy ass meals a day out of your trust.
Yeah.
This is
Out of
why they
your
say
trust.
you're paying
Chief,
them room.
excuse one
Go ahead.
question, excuse me for interrupting. Will that money be returned back to us that they've been stealing out of our trust?
Well, based on what I heard you say with Trump, they were saying that they so-called found all of these funds that
Mm-hmm.
were so-called left over in the account. You didn't listen. When I hear stuff like that, my mind thinks a certain way. First of all, you hadn't found something that was always there,
Mm.
guys. If you didn't know that every single American who has a Social Security number has a 13. million tax credit with the IRS and don't even know it.
Mm.
Credit. Each person has a $13 million tax credits where people are paying themselves and paying their bills from that. So these are the funds that they talk about, they so-called found, that you had accumulated in that account, and they owe you interest on top of it because they've been robbing the people blind. And they
Mm.
talk about giving you down $5,000, and we supposed to tap in for that. When they made the whole world has been going around because of that. But I'm a very resourceful guy. I got a lot of understanding. And I just want righteousness, and righteousness is actually getting ready to prevail. Because there's a force. Our ancestors are here to make sure, because we don't have the guns and the bullets and the weaponry like they have. So what's behind them to do what they're doing? There's a force here. On my
Mm.
page, now Dr. Kim, I'm gonna send it to you, where they showed a little over a month ago, they showed all these stars coming to Earth. Those are not
Mm.
stars, those are celestial beings. And they're
Wow.
they're here to bring balance.
Yes.
So I would hope that everybody's on the righteous side, because lower vibrational people won't make it through. They won't make it through. But I'm here to say that for those of you who are having health issues or health
Hmm.
problems going on, there's something I can turn you on to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is a hit. I'm not saying heal. I'm not saying anything about. I'm just saying that if you want some remedy, there's something that you can do that I have. You can reach out to me. For there's a device. That's one of your clients I talked to, Dr. Kier. She has something similar to a med bed, and I'm going to
Okay.
here in Chicago. I'm going to do a trust for her because
Mm.
she has turned her home into a healing center.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's a special technology out there that a lot of people don't know about, and it's similar to the med bed,
Mm.
and it's dealing with light therapy, and it can heal your body from the inside. See, one guy walked in there, um, and he came in a wheelchair, and 4 hours later he was able to walk up out of there.
Praise. Praises to the Most
So
High.
these are things that a lot of people are about to be wealthy, but you really don't have wealth if your health is not in order.
Can
So
you
I'm
come
here.
back? Excuse me,
Go
Chief.
ahead.
Excuse me, Fender. Can you come back on one evening and actually, I don't know if you would rather do that in a consultation, but if you're free on one
Yeah,
evening to talk about these different
yeah, yeah, yeah.
things
I
that you
can.
have to
Yeah, I
address
can.
the health
Yeah,
issues.
I'll actually have the product on me. It's about the size of a quarter. And what
Okay.
what happens is, as we age, you get older, our bodies start losing the ability to heal itself based on stem cells. That's what stem cells are there for, is to help rejuvenate the body. And as we
Mm.
get older, we're aging 10 times faster than what we should, guys. Why is that? The air, the water, and the food source have been turned into an acidic. What does
Mm.
acidic does? It ages the body. So what's happening to our bodies through sugars and all of the acidic foods is that our body is rusting. We're
Rusting?
ru- yes, we're rusting from the inside out.
Wow.
We're rusting, and that's what
Mm.
inflammation is.
Mm.
So the light therapy and this particular the patch that I have, it basically handles the inflammation, which that causes cancer in the body. And if you got
Okay.
inflammation in your body, because your body is highly acidic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to inspire, motivate, and lift you guys to say that let's correct our eating habits. Let's start drinking more alkaline water. Let's start getting more healthy fruits and salads, leafy. I'm talking about green salads with red medallion onions, and let's get natural oils in our body, like natural virgin olive oils and castor oils. Just get these healthy oils in our bodies. Let's get out there and walk. Let's start somewhere. So when you get these funds, you can really, really live a healthy and an amazing lifestyle and wealth and then trust. So I'm here to inspire you guys, and because a lot of people saying that I'm Chief, I was sick. I had to go to the hospital. I had this. Chief, I was deceived, and I took one or two of these shots, and it's got
Mm,
me feeling this way. And I said, brother, don't worry about it. Our sister, don't worry about it. We got you. So
mm.
though we're gonna fight with you guys. The Soul Tribe family is gonna fight for one another. We're gonna lift each other. We're gonna motivate each other. We're gonna inspire each other. And love covers a multitude.
Yes, sir.
It
Now,
covers a
Chief,
multitude.
go ahead.
Mhm. Go ahead. You can say something.
I wanted to know, yes, thank you for all this information that you're giving us. And hopefully at some point you'll come on, if you can, show us the patch, let us know how to contact you, what channels, just do a whole show on that.
I will, because the past, I've researched this stuff in the past, like 3.5 months before I actually got it myself. And when
Okay.
I really studied it, you see people who have had strokes, heart attacks,
Mm,
your organs, our body organs are jacked up because of the acidic foods that we're eating.
mm-hmm,
And for those unfortunate, those of you who have done something that you're regretting right now that started in 2020,
mm-hmm.
we're going to fight with you. We're going to love on you. And we all make mistakes, but you are not what's the mistake that you've made. You're not that. And so we're going to work together as a Soul Tribe family. We're going to work together and we're going to help you guys, to live a better life. I trust our Heavenly Father that He had things out there that even though you made a mistake and you're not your mistake,
That's
you
right.
get up, you dust off, shed your tears, link up with brothers and sisters who are gonna tribe up with you and love on you and fight and fight. And we're gonna help you fight. For those of you who have done that, I'm gonna eventually come back on here and show you something that you can get that will help rejuvenate the body and help the stem cells to go in there and recreate and regrow and rebuild the tissues.
Mm.
At the same time, I'm going to motivate you, lift you guys to just clean up your eating habits and how you eat. And this is what I'm doing with myself. I would ask you guys to go in there and do some push-ups. We're gonna motivate. Hey guys, we're gonna start up doing 10 or 15 push-ups. We're
Oh
gonna
my
build
God.
each day. We're gonna build up. We're gonna do standing squats. You don't have money to get a gym membership, and you don't want to pay that. Hell, you can stand up and do some squats. Just standing squats. Standing
Mm.
squats. Get some weights. Do some curls. Do some push-ups. Move your body. Because if you don't move your body, if you leave a car sitting up a whole 2 years, if you go in there and try to start it up, it's not going to start up.
Wow. True.
It's not. The body's the
And you
same way.
speaking from expertise because
Yeah.
what are your credentials? I know you were a
Well,
bodybuilder. You were a,
yeah. I've
a,
trained. I've been working out
trainer.
for almost 40 years. I've trained professional athletes. I've trained celebrities. Also trained elderly people how to
Mm,
train them to strengthen their back, their bodies. I've been a health coach with food.
mm.
Like, I mean, if anybody wanted to, use my expertise in terms of having something dealing directly with you, if you have an issue, I mean, this what I do. Even at my worst, I'm 240 pounds and I'm solid. I'm a 36 in the waist and I'm 48 in the suit jacket. Those are athletic measurements. Even at a
Mm.
53, get ready to be 54-year-old man.
Wow.
Um, I'm still really strong, and these are things that I've done, over the years. Sometimes I eat just one meal a day.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, the American diet will put you 6 feet under. You
Hmm.
don't, it don't, sometimes people be eating so much to the point you don't give your body a chance to heal and recoup itself. Sometimes intermittent fasting is good because it's going to cause your body to eat away at the fats and start pulling away certain things that's trapped in your body. A lot of us
Hmm.
need oil change. We need an oil change in our body. Oil change. Just think about it. Your liver, your
Yeah.
kidneys, your gallbladder, your arteries need to be flushed.
Mm,
You got plaque in your arteries, and you can
mm.
have an aneurysm in the brain, which is the brain having a heart attack, or you can have a heart attack. You know,
Oh,
uh, Being pre-diabetic is because of the sugars that you eat. The sugar, too much sugars. A lot of these drinks we drinking, it's too sugary. You can mix that with a half water, some water, because it's too sugary.
Chief, somebody wants to know how tall you are. Uh-oh. We'll have to send, I don't know, sometimes when he comes on, he gets kicked off. So I'm going to have to send him another link. And Sister Stacy, I see you. I'm going to put your message on the screen. Thank you so much for sending me a blessing. I love you, sister. I am going to put your thing on the screen in 1 minute. But let's get back to the money while Chief is reconnecting. I just wanted to let you know that President Trump is trying to balance the losses with new sources of income. So, people are losing their jobs as the government is being downsized, as well as all these corporations and banks, CEOs of corporations, they're all filing bankruptcy. Banks are collapsing. People are just unemployed since the global shutdown. So in order to reconcile all this, Trump is balancing the losses with new sources of income, such as stimulus checks that he's about to send everybody. Also, money from global settlements that a lot of people don't know about that had occurred, settlements that had been going through ongoing court proceedings for some decades. These global settlements now are about to come to a head where now all this money is going to be paid out. So you got global settlements, you have humanitarian efforts and funds that were set aside decades ago. And as a matter of fact, the government tapped onto the shoulders of many churches and nonprofit organizations and said, hey, we're going to have global settlements. We're going to have humanitarian money that's set aside. And so what they did, they trained people to learn how to use these humanitarian monies and funds in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And these people had to go through clearances. They had to make sure their reputation was cleansed. They had to make sure they didn't have any criminal record. And these people even outlined what they would do with the money in terms of creating humanitarian plans. And the government would come around and look at these humanitarian plans after they looked at the person and did, security clearance and everything. And they said, when the money comes, it is injected into the global economy in a few years, this was in the 70s and 80s, then you all will be the ones that will be able to use this money to create humanitarian projects. So you have global settlements, you have humanitarian aid and projects and funds that were created decades ago. This is about to come to fruition now. You have the farmers' claims. That's part of NASARA, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and the global version of that, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. All of those funds from, whether it be from different dynasties or different families that have, amassed a lot of wealth, such as the Saint Germain Trust, the Rodriguez Trust, and the different trusts that were created years ago. All of these peoples and these families have said at the right time, we're going to inject money into the global economy because they're multi-billionaires. And we're going to make sure the people are liberated and set free. So I'll go over it again. In order to balance the losses, new source of income will be injected into the global economy to stimulate the economy. Thank you so much for the Cash App blessing. To stimulate the economy, you have global settlements, humanitarian money, stimulus checks, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, farmers claims, NASARA, JASARA. You have the Washita Empress, her claims. The Washita Empress, for those of you who don't know, was the empress of the Ashita or Washita people, which are the Moors or the original Americans here in America. She took the United States Incorporated to court at the world courts. She took them to court at the same time as the farmers took the United States Incorporated and the Federal Reserve Central Banking System to court. She took them to court, said these people who came here to America, these brutish Moors, British, whatever you want to call them, settlers, who claimed that they bought the Louisiana Purchase, didn't buy anything. They stole it. And she called it the Louisiana theft. She brought the allodial title to the land. She bought all her documents and said, we still are, own or manage this land. We are the stewards of the land. We are a part of the dynasty that was here before it was usurped. Our republic was usurped by these people that came here. And she said, we haven't gone anywhere. We are the original people. And as a matter of fact, when she did that, the United Nations declared the Black people in America, African Americans, to be the oldest indigenous people on the planet. That happened in the 1990s. The oldest indigenous peoples on the planet. And they've said, yes, in fact, the African American, the Black Americans were the autogenous original American. And as such, they have to be compensated. She won her claim in the amount of $85 quadrillion. I need to do a whole podcast on Empress Washita, Empress Verdiasi or Verdice Gaston L. Turner Bay. Verdiacee. Empress Verdiasi, or some people call her Verdice Gaston L. Turner Bay. Took the United States to court, won her claims in the amount of $85 quadrillion. That money will come back to the autogenous people, to the Americans, as well as Nasara, Jasara, and all these other benefits. And another means of money being injected to the global economy is those of you, as Chief Mack expressed, that have money, foreign currencies. Okay, you're waiting for the reinstatement of the rate for those foreign currencies. You might have a Zimbabwe, you might have Iraqi dinar. What else? Vietnamese dong. What else? Indonesian rupiah, Indian rupee, Afghanistan currency, Afghani. All of you that are holding those currencies, please know you are going to be wealthy. This is real. I'm telling you, Chief Matt's going to have to come on. I don't know if he's going to do it today, but he said he was going to talk about how this is real, how we know it is real. It's a simple exchange. People are trying to make it seem so complicated. No, it's a simple exchange. Just like when you go to another country and you take your USD and you exchange it for their currency, they look at the rate and they give you their currency. Then when you come back to America, you got that country's currency. You want to change it back to USD. They look at the rate and they give you the money. It's that simple. You're not going to have to go to some military base. At least that's not what I'm told. You're not going to have to go to some extraneous mystical building, which you don't know if it's real or not. You're going to go to a bank, which is reclassified now as a wealth management center, a bank that is being monitored, that have to be Basel compliant. And it will be a simple exchange. If you have a Zim bond, those bonds will be redeemed. Listen, the value of the bond will be posted. It's not going to be something that's mystical or something you got to figure out. The bond will be posted. The banks will know the rate or how much, the rate of the bond. You will know, the banks will know, the government of Zimbabwe will know, their treasury will know, the United States Treasury Department will know. All you need is a bank that will broker the deal. The broker, the RV for you. So I just want you to know, family, that you're going to be okay. This is why banks met globally last summer to determine their preparedness. They determined that they were ready to do the currency exchanges. So I just wanted to remind you, family, that this is happening. All this money is coming back into the global economy, and you're all going to be wealthy. Not to mention the sovereign wealth fund that Trump initiated. All that is comprised of stocks, bonds, real estate, foreign currency,
This is
etc.
why I said, what? This is my saying, and I started saying this 3 years ago. What a beautiful time to be alive when you're connected to the right people and source. And
Absolutely.
the deal is, we are connected to the right people. All of us are the right people that we're connected to. And that source is the Most High, the Great Spirit, the universe. He's all of that. That's the source. And that source is within us. And when you got that type of vibration happening, we're all feeding off of that. That's a beautiful thing. He
Yes.
said, when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am present. We are the church because he's not in a building made by hands. We are the church that he resides in. He is the temple. And so when you got righteous people with high vibrations coming together like that, it's explosive. Um, I wanted to touch on Dr. Key. As of Monday last week, that's been a lot of chatter about the banks working behind the scene to accept the foreign currencies.
Mm,
And they are excited. At the same time, you got a lot of disinformational people out there trying to scare people up.
mm-hmm.
You're gonna always have that. I had a client of mine. that told me that they were celebrating. He's in Australia, and he's just Australia. He was saying that they're celebrating over there in Iraq. And I'm gonna tell you
Mhm.
guys something. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm sorry to say this, but the American people are the most uninformed people in the world.
Mm.
The American people are the most uninformed people in the world because I said that the media just don't give you the true facts, man.
Right, right.
Or they'll put a spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want the people here being able to operate in being equitable. They don't want us to know what's going on over there so we can get in on the transfer of wealth. They don't want us to know these things. So now you got a lot of people out there saying that, oh, that's nothing going to happen with the Iraqi dinars. How is that possible? But the only thing that can happen is it can go up. That's the only thing that could happen. And people saying that it's not going to happen. And I have been knowing about Iraqi dinar for 20 years.
Wow.
Like some friends of my older guys who were getting it, and
Mm-hmm.
it didn't happen back then like they thought it was. But right now, because the gold standard, they've been trying to hold off on things for so long, Dr. Kia, that right
Yes.
now they can't stage it off or hold back anymore. It can't. It's just not going to
Mm.
happen. So for those of you who have foreign currencies of any type, XRP, gold, and silver, congratulations to you guys. Those of you with a righteous mind, I'm looking to put something together where we can meet up and we go down there and get a nice, get a Bentley together. Or or let's go to a 5-star restaurant and we're gonna fight over who's gonna pay each other's bills. You know, let's get rich. Let's get used to rich man and rich women stuff, man. And I'm
Yes.
talking about rich in heart and rich in spirit.
Mm.
Because we're gonna be. I'm just so happy that I have some guys who are homeless that's dependent on me.
Mm.
I got some videos that I'm gonna post on my YouTube page about these gentlemen that are so smart and intelligent, and
Mm.
I have them. But these are things that I've been doing. It's nothing
Yeah.
new. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna post. I'm gonna post it because I'm going to inspire you guys to go ahead and build some more heavenly points. Because everything that we do, I keep on telling people that everything that we are doing is being recorded.
Everything. And you said through our eyes, what we see, what we hear, what we speak, all that.
Because the brain is a computer. We're not
Mm.
this body. It's just an avatar.
Okay.
The seat of the soul is the sits in the pineal gland, and that is
Mm.
older than this fleshly body.
Mm.
And for those of you, as you keep on studying and researching, you'll find out what I found out. You'll find out that we have been here several many different times before. Reincarnation is real, and that's what
Yeah.
they don't want you to know. They made a
Mm.
movie called Soul Trap. Soul Trap, and I had posted to my page. I'm gonna try to repost it again. Soul Trap is telling you that people, if you transition, nobody ever just transition. I would rather say transition to die because
Yeah.
transition means you transition out of the old into something new, and you
Mm.
come back in here in a different body with a. They zap your memory from you, but every now and then do deja vu. You say, "Wait a minute, I remember doing this." Did they take
Yeah.
that memory from you?
Mm.
Because we've been here several different lifetimes. The thing is, I ain't trying to come back.
Thank you. I said the same thing. I do
So
not want to come back.
no amount of gaslight me, lying on me, talking about me, really cute, me, trying to slander my character. You're gonna pay for that. Your karma and debt is gonna be horrible. You better hope you don't come back as a roach.
Because you get stomped out.
Cause it's stopped on. Mind the business that pays you, because it will pay you guys, and just operate in love is the highest vibration. Authenticity is the highest vibration. And man, that's just it's gonna seem unbelievable when these funds are gonna come. And the only thing that I would say we're gonna have to work on just being healthy, and we're gonna talk about that at a different day. But I'm gonna bring
Okay.
some health products to you guys on things you can do. Just see you guys on the plus side of life. We will see that some of you that are planning on seeing each other, we're gonna dap up and we're gonna hug up, man. Say, brother and sister, we made it, man. And that's
AT,
yeah.
sorry. Do you have time to answer questions or you want to wait till another day?
I mean, I'll answer a few questions. Yeah.
Okay. Before we do, some people were asking about the dinar and the currencies. Listen, family, what made the dollar the world reserve currency was our agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudi kingdom in exchange for their oil. And we would force all nations to get oil from Saudi Arabia. And then they have to use the dollar to do that. That's what gave the United States Incorporated financial and economic hegemony. That's what made them the powerhouse. That's what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency. Well, when BRICS decided that they're not going to trade with the dollar anymore, that was huge. Now they're using their own currencies, and they were inspired by Vladimir Putin of Russia to do that, to stop trading with the dollar. Because when he went to Ukraine and exposed the stuff that Biden crime family, all these presidents have been doing, the money laundering, the sex laundering, the child sex trafficking, then Biden put sanctions on Vladimir Putin. And that happened in 2022. That was the Ukraine war. Well, when he put sanctions on Putin, Putin stopped trading with the dollar, started using his Russian ruble. Russian ruble became the strongest performing currency in 2022. And then Putin inspired all nations to stop trading with the dollar. And one by one, they started joining BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa coalition. And then when Saudi Arabia was the first country to join BRICS, which was huge, that ended our agreement with them to protect their kingdom in exchange for their oil. Then the dollar lost financial and lost the world reserve currency status. All these countries coalesced against the United States Incorporated, the BRICS coalition, and then who were all those nations that joined Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and Saudi Arabia became known as SAL BRICS, and now BRICS Plus. And then you had the Shanghai Corporation organizations, the Asian countries that stopped trading with the dollar. So now the dollar has lost a lot of its power and its strength. Well, remember I said if countries didn't want to use the dollar, then that became a problem because of our agreement with Saudi Arabia, all countries had to use the dollar. Well, if the country said, no, we don't want to use the dollar before BRICS formed and, inspired all the nations to join them, any country that decided not to trade with the dollar, we would declare war on them, or we would put sanctions on those countries, and their currency would be devalued or go down in value. The people at the top, the elite, banking CEOs, corporate leaders, presidents would buy the currencies when they had been devalued through war or sanctions. Wait till after the war. Then the United States will go into those war-torn countries, rebuild the infrastructure, and then those countries' currencies would go up in value.
Watch this right here. If I interject. A lot of people don't understand that what the United States would do, guys, and look this up. There's something called an economic hitman.
Right.
They would send, what is an economic hitman? They would go over there and talk to the prime minister or the president or whoever in each country. And they would say, they would create a monopoly, try to work out a deal with that prime minister or president. If he don't do it or succumb to it, then they become a hitman. So you start sending people unalive and disappear. They would send what you call an economic hitman over there to their country, and saying that they would go by their terms, and if they don't, then this person can come up mysteriously unalive.
And they have a book out too called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. They got several editions. Really good book that talks about exactly what you're saying. So I just wanted people to know that the country's currencies would be devalued, and then after the war, when we rebuild their infrastructure, the leaders would reinstate the currencies back to their pre-war value. So if you bought the currency while it was devalued through war or sanctions and held on to it and waited till the currency was reinstated to its pre-war value, then you would go to the bank and get a new exchange rate, right? You might have bought the country's currency for 16 cents once it been devalued. Well, when they reinstated to like $3.50, now you become a multimillionaire. These people at the top were doing this for a long time, family, but that information was kept from us. Now, the Most High Creator Source has allowed us to know about this. So I just wanted to say that for those who didn't know if this was real or not, because you are asking.
Oh, it's real.
It's very real.
It's real.
All right.
And Dr. Key, even though
Yes.
real quick, even though a lot of that we know about these guys, it's still a lot of people who don't have a clue of what's going on. Listen, I have 6 sisters and 7 brothers. Now, my brother, 1 year younger than me, I'm so ecstatic that his spiritual eyes are opening up, and
Yeah.
now I'm his champion. He has older brothers, but I'm his big brother. And I was so happy and glad that I was able to turn him on and help give him some money so he can invest and get into racket and knowledge. And that's what family should be about.
Yes.
So, me, I'm planning on helping my other siblings out. I don't want them working a job. I want them to have some freedom of working their health. So that's why a lot of us have been sent to be that very savior in our family, not just a family, to be able to help those out who we love and who are dear to us, to be a financial gift to. And that's, for me, that's what it's all about. I love family. I really love family.
It
And we got
too.
to build back up that legacy and the trust in our family because there's a lot of distrust going on. Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. And I also want to thank my sister, Stacy, rawest nanny ever. She gave us a $20 donation. Thank you so much, Sister Stacy. She said, as a
Yeah.
nurse of 18 years, she agrees with
Awesome.
you, Chief, that she agrees with you, all the things you were saying about healing and health, and she wants to help her community reverse the damage. She
Good.
also wants to say that detox is very, very important. Um, and let me see if I have. Thank you for the blessing. And also thank you all that have given me a Cash App blessing as well. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. We send blessings of peace and prosperity to all of you who give to us and bless us. Let's see if I can find some of these questions, Chief. What do you think about the real ID, Chief? Something called a real ID that's the government is saying you have to do?
You don't have to do anything. Um,
Okay.
that that's that's all about getting the. That's why you want to get the diplomatic passport.
Okay.
For those of you who don't have it, you can reach out to me. Like I have a small donation. I can, you have to get your birth certificate authenticated on the state and federal level.
Okay.
I hear certain people say don't push paperwork, and I respect what all people say. But for me, you know, I know that getting your birth certificate authenticated on the state level and federal level will make you will become what they call full faith and credit.
Hmm.
That's the benefits that's going to happen when anybody get that paperwork. It's a bond paper. It's on bond paper, stamp, and you have a special number at the top, and it says full faith and credit. That's the
Hmm.
major benefits that's going to happen for those of you who can hurry get this done. Once you become full faith and credit, which means on the state level and the federal level, you take that piece of document there, and that has to go inside your passport package, amongst other things, and know how to fill out the application in a way where you're not a citizen. I do all of that. I've got my diplomatic passport, book and card. I got my birth certificate all dedicated on the state and federal level, including my own child. I got hers done as well. And
Hmm.
that's so that you can get the diplomatic passport, which would take you out of being a citizen to an American, and that puts you on the do not detain list, amongst other things.
Hmm. And
So
so, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask where can people? You said people can reach out to you for the diplomatic passport. So I believe so. No, I don't believe. I know
Mm-hmm.
that your Gmail is unityinmotion45 at yahoo.com, and I just want to confirm that with you.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
UNITYINMOTION 45 at yahoo.com, family. If you want to reach out to Chief Matt for any type of consultation, whether it be health, he can do a regimen for you, the fitness program, or talk about a diplomatic passport, or how to operate outside the jurisdiction of the United States Incorporated. All of that he can help you with.
And this is for entertainment purposes only.
All right. Okay. Danny Angel asks, I wonder if they're sending this $5,000 as a check or to your bank account. I think you already
Right.
addressed
You,
that.
you, you, you'll have the option whether you want a check, because they give you the option. They say everybody don't have a bank account, so they give you the option whether you want a check or you want to wire to your account.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if they send you a check, you can write that you accept it as partial payment, right? This is what I'm hearing.
Man,
You should just accept.
yeah, I got you. I'm gonna mess around, put your
Well, what do
beneficiary
you
name on the
say,
back.
Chief? This is just what I heard.
Well, but then you do that. You can listen. They're not giving you anything but what's out your trust anyway.
Okay.
The government
Okay.
don't have anything to give you, but the wealth belongs to you already.
Mm,
The people are looked at as cattle. They're
mm,
looked at as cattle, useless either, and feeders off the land. That's how they look at you.
mm.
I don't want to go too down the rabbit hole, too deep down the rabbit hole, because some of you may not be able to handle that. But there there's a people who are looked at as a food source.
Wow.
The name that these people are called has a patent number. And if you pull that patent number up, it got us as produce.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you
I'm
want to
listening.
pull yourself out of that capacity. I've never seen a white person before, and I've never seen a black person before. I know those are statuses. And I know some people who really, really got dark skin who got white on who go by white.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a status, not a color, you know. So, but we're wise enough. When we wise up, we can rise up together, guys. And so yeah.
Absolutely. Rodney Montgomery says, "Thank you, Dr. Pruitt and Chief Mack. I've learned so much from you all. Love you always."
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, Chief, you talked about produce. Did you know African Americans are classified as produce?
Well, you
You,
said it. I don't want to say it, but you said that's the PAT number. It's a PAT number. Listen, African American didn't exist until 1988.
hmm,
They used Jesse Jackson to bring that forth. It didn't exist until 1988. Other than that, we had never heard of anything African being attached to us until 1988, guys. Other than that, we were black, colored, Negroid, and before then, we were known as the American Indians.
hmm,
Before then, not the
yes, sir.
fact, no disrespect to anybody, but just true, maybe offensive to certain people. But the so-called Native Americans are what they call the $5 Indians, which are the Mongolian Asians who later mixed in with the Spaniard conquistadors.
Mm,
The Spaniard conquistadors. That's why Mexicans and Chinese people look alike
they really do. Yes,
because
yes.
they're the same people. They're the
Wow.
same people,
And
and so they go ahead.
Trump said that they're not real Americans. He said that the
No, I
Native
mean,
Americans are not real
well,
Americans.
I feel sorry for most of them because they've been lied to. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't get any enjoyment out of people who've been lied to. Some of them know the truth, but most of them have been lied to. And then
Mm,
at the 11th hour, they get the rug snatched underneath them.
yeah,
I
yeah.
I don't get any enjoyment out of that. But for our people who have been oppressed for so long, for me, I want my inheritance back.
Mm,
And if anybody else, you should, if you were in the situation too, you would feel the same way we feel, guys, when our inheritance, just so people know that the land deeds and the titles to America is in our ancestors' name, in trust.
mm,
So
mm.
that's why when you do a family genealogy, then you find out those land patterns. That I want you to know about that. So, but we are a righteous people. We're not trying
Yes.
to just say kick somebody out of here and just go. No, we want our inheritance back. We want
Mm,
to be in our rightful position, but we want fairness amongst all. So we want fairness. We are a righteous and fair and loving people. Naturally, we are that way.
yes,
And
sir.
so when it was going back to a Republican, this is why when Trump had for Black History Month, he had Tiger Woods on there. For anybody who have seen it, and he was just so nice and caring to the so-called Black Americans, and he had certain people on there, but they know that the land has been given back to the Chiefs. That's why in the
Mm.
future to come, you're going to see the Chiefs winning a lot of more football games. But it was the Eagles was supposed to win because they had to come and land. So
Because they what, Chief?
the Eagles, when the Eagles play, I knew that the Eagles was going to win because
Okay.
everything is symbolic.
Okay.
It had to show that the Eagles were going to land. The Eagles had to come and land.
Okay.
The Eagles represent America being great again
Okay.
because the Chiefs are in position. So that's what's going to make America great again. So the
Mm,
Eagles had to win.
mm.
And all of your football after 9/11, watch it, after 9/11, they needed a patriotic team to win. So who won? Who was winning the Super Bowl back then? The Patriots.
Oh,
It's all stage, man.
it's all
It's
state.
it's
Mm.
stage, man. If you want to watch a professional football game and basketball game, make sure you have some popcorn because you're watching the movie. And don't forget your slushy.
Ah, thank you, Chief. People are now just saying that they appreciate you. Somebody said they see a true gentleman and a true lady giving information. Thank
Well, we
you.
appreciate you. It take a true lady and a true man to realize a true lady and a queen and an
That's
emperor when you see one. Back at
right.
you.
Absolutely. Somebody asked if you help with citizenship. I can't find that comment, but I'm not sure what they mean exactly. Maybe change correcting your status, but they just say, "Can you help with citizenship?" And then James says, "Hello from Gary, Indiana." James Williams.
James, what's up, James? I'm in Gary.
He's in Gary right now, James.
Yeah.
Does it? Do they need to do anything to receive the $5,000 stimulus check that Trump said he's going to, and Elon said they're going to send to everybody? I don't think so. I haven't heard that you have to do anything for the stimulus check. Have you, Chief?
I haven't heard anything. I don't really care about the stimulus check because I know they're gonna stick their hands in there and pull something out. You're gonna have to sign something, and they're gonna stick their
Mm,
hands and say, "Thank you. Here's some peanuts."
mm, mm,
Listen,
mm.
guys, let me tell you something. The so-called what's it called? I was just on my mind. Will they be giving out these checks to people?
The stimulus, they were giving stimulus checks
What
during
what,
the
what, what was that? When people were filling out this paper, you can get like maybe 10, 15, or $20,000.
Oh,
The
oh,
PPP,
for your
the
business.
PP, the
PPP.
listen, the PPP loans with nothing but them pulling money from your trust.
What? I wish
They
I had.
didn't give you anything, but what they pulled from the Social Security trust, they pulled funds from there and paid you on that. Now, for those of you who got the PPP loan, the contracts, if you actually printed it out and you looked at that, you would see it was an implied trust that you were
Mm,
signing. It was an irrevocable trust that you were signing. That's why they give you all these papers, and you're signing an implied trust that you then express who you were in that trust, those documents, which you think is a contract. And so they made themselves the grantor of that contract, which is a trust. It's a hidden contract, which is an implied trust. They made themselves the grantor. The grantor by default benefits from the trust. They
mm.
simply just gave you what was inside your trust. That's why they were saying, well, it's we're gonna forgive it. Oh,
Yeah.
certain people will forgive it because it's your own damn money.
Mm, mm,
Again, the government doesn't give people anything. When they were giving you food stamps, the food stamps was coming from your trust. So when they allow these foreigners to come over here and get $15,000 per family for food stamps, they were robbing from the American people and giving it to them.
wow.
So we ought to be livid. We ought to
Wow.
be angry. The money
Mm,
that they were getting to come over here and open up a jewelry store. You go in these malls and you got these foreigners come over here. They didn't come here with money in their pocket. They came
mm,
over here, and the United States corporation, which is foreign to the American people, were bringing their own people over here to infiltrate us. We got to stop fucking
mm.
around with each other, and let's start loving each other. And let's get our inheritance back. But we don't operate in with hate with anybody. But we got to stop hating on each other and come together as a cohesive unit because we've been robbed. And we're too blinded because we're coming at each other to the point we can't see what's been done to us.
Mm. Thank you,
I
Chief.
see,
Go ahead.
I see light so clear, and I see what's going on. I don't have time for riffraff. I don't have time to be going back and forth with people because I see the war that's been waged on the American people, whether you so-called white, black, we're all slaves in the system. We shouldn't be working a job that's paying you out your own damn trust because your application that you sign at that job is a trust. And they take that and send it to the Treasury. and put maybe 20 or $30 million out your account and pay you peanuts on it, and then put a life insurance on you, so when you croak, they collect it and write it all the way to the damn bank.
Mm,
I just
mm.
see things, and I'm vast with information of what they're doing to us. And so I just want everybody to live your, and that's why people are transitioning early. It's because you're stressed the hell out.
Yes, absolutely.
You're
Absolutely.
rushing to go to a
Absolutely.
job, hoping you don't have an accident, to go to a job where people don't like you and you don't even like. Then you're rushing to get home. You're in a rush to go nowhere to get home, hoping you don't have an accident. And get home, take a shower and eat, and go to bed, because you got to make sure you hope you wake up to go to work and be an all. You're like a rat in that wheel, turning around, and that's not living. You should be working no more than 2 hours a day, because you want to know why? Because that's what the rich do. They go in there off with their laptop, spend 2 hours, and they get out there and they go to the golf course and talk business and drink some lemonade. Well, we're slaving, fussing and arguing, and then watching television that give us a false reality that we give
Mhm,
life to it.
mhm,
We give
mhm.
life to that false reality that they put on television, that I call the idiot box, because they got a lot of people around here acting like idiots. It's time to wise up, guys, so we can rise up together.
Time to wise up so we can rise up together. Chief, that's a great way to end the show.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. I really appreciate all your words of wisdom, the jewels that you dropped, the information about our health and how you're going to bring in some health products. Thank you for confirming that the RV, or the revaluation and reinstatement of currencies, is real. Thank you for reiterating that we're all going to be wealthy and that it's an amazing time to be alive. Just you've always been a source of wisdom and comfort for the people. You are the people's chief, and we love you so much for that.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate you guys. Love you
any
guys too.
final words from you, Chief? Any final words? Oh, and somebody's waiting. Hold on. Sand Hills is waiting to hear back from you. This person emailed you and patiently waiting a response. We know you've been out of town, but some people want to know what should they do if they haven't heard from you yet. And then your
Guys,
final words.
guys, I have a plethora of people that I'm dealing with. Be patient. If that's the case, just send me another email. If that's the case, because I have keep in mind that I have other people that I'm dealing with.
I know.
Keep in mind, and just email me. I have emailed back a lot of people already. They're responding. There's some emails going to my junk email, so I'll make sure I go there. Just continue to email. If I haven't, responded to you, just email me again, and I'll get to you. That's a plethora of people that I talk to and say thanks for getting back to me in time like that. So if you email me and I haven't responded, just be patient. If you just email me recently, I'll get to you, because that's other people before you. But just email me again if you email and I have responded, and I'll get to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chief. Now, thank you so much for that. For the
Mhm.
people that are concerned, I know you're also traveling. You help your family. I mean, you take care of the homeless. You have your own humanitarian projects. You come on the
I do.
shows like these, so we really appreciate you.
But
Um,
I wanted to go out with this right here. If we all can say this and just send these vibration.
okay.
I've been saying this, and I'm telling you guys, things have changed for me. That the wealth of the wicked
Yes.
is stored up for the just,
Mm,
and we are the just. That the meek shall inherit the earth, and we are the meek, guys.
mm,
Guys, that we're going from last to first.
mm.
That we're going to be the creditors and not the debtors. We're going to be crediting people things, guys.
Ooh,
Guys, we're going to be the lenders and
yeah.
not the debtors. We're going to be
Woo,
lending
yes.
things, guys. Speak these things over yourself daily. Operate in high vibration. Get out there and say, oh, thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you that my inheritance is at hand. That I have it in abundance, oh Heavenly Father. That I have wealth and health. That I'm going to be able to help those who can't help themselves. I'm so thankful.
Well, that was getting good. That was getting so good. I don't know if Chief is going to be able to come back on, but I'll send him another link. I just want to say to you, family, that I really sincerely appreciate you all, because I always say this. without you all, I wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter to have this information or these downloads or the knowledge and wisdom that the Most High, the source or ancestors give me, if there was nobody to share it with. So I thank you all so very much for taking the time out of your day, taking time away from your family. Some of you listen with your family, or taking time out of your lunch break or on your break to listen to the Dr. Kia Pruitt show. You don't have to do that, but I'm very, very grateful that you do it. So thank you so much. Thank you also for sharing the information with your family and friends, and for sharing the video, liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you for that. I also want to say thank you to, oh gosh, you guys have been sending me Cash App blessings and I haven't even said thank you. I'm so sorry. Let me get to this screen so I can see you. For all of you that support my work, I'm very, very grateful. For all of you that support Chief Mac, thank you so much. He appreciates it. I appreciate it, because you give us the support, monetary support that we need to do this work. So I want to thank Chief Mac for constantly pouring into me, whether it be through giving me wise counsel. He is my overseer. Everybody needs to have some type of spiritual covering. He is my spiritual covering. I'm grateful for that. And for financially blessing me to make sure that I'm taken care of so I don't have to go out and work. I thank you, Chief. I thank you, Deborah. I thank you, Brother Willie. Zay, thank you so much for the Cash App blessing. Dennis, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Denna, God bless you. Sister Stacy, thank you. My homegirl from Louisville, Kentucky. Deborah, again, thank you. Natasha, I appreciate you. Sister Carol, Sister Cynthia, Wilford, thank you. Sister Barbara, you see all this blessing, Chief. Rose, Sharita, Arnold, Dennis again, Jay, Kitty, Chief Mac, and my sons, Douglas and Dexter. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. May you receive 1,000-fold for all that you poured into me. And anybody asking, my Cash App is $ Mama Kia 13. That's $ MAMAKIA 13. I do use the money for benevolent purposes only, usually to maybe upgrade some upgrades or do my study and do my research or buy food to pour into myself as I pour into you. So I'm very, very grateful for you. Thank you. Back into your hands, Chief Mac.
Well, like I said, just say these things to yourself, guys, and speak high vibration. We're in a manifestation time like never before. That's why I said I've been so excited. It's an exciting time to be alive when you connect to the right people, the right source, guys. Get out there and win and be champions and walk with high vibration, walk with expectations. We are the new bankers of the world. We are the bankers. So we're gonna talk about wealth management. When you
Okay.
get these funds, that you have 30% goes into the account, 70% go into tangible assets. We're gonna talk about these things, guys. We're going to talk about it. So, congratulations. I'll see you guys on the other side. Nothing but love, honor, and respect with you guys. Y'all take care. As my friend in Australia said, Dean said, ciao.
Ciao, family. And one last time, you can contact Chief Mac at UnityInMotion45 at yahoo.com. That's UNITYINMOTION 45 or 45 at yahoo.com. And he will be elated to serve you. Thank you, family. God bless you. You've heard from Chief Mac. I'm Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust that I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Go out and make this a great day. Peace, family. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.